morning, everybody. I am outside in my backyard today, and we're going to talk about buying a home. And I have a little list here, but I'll tell you all little details, and hopefully my cat won't get too in the way. Make sure you're ready to buy. It's an important thing to think about. If I'm going to buy this house, am I going to live in it for 5 to 10 years? Don't have to live in it for 5 to 10 years. But a minimum of 2 years is probably your best consideration, because you don't have to pay capital taxes on selling a home after 2 years, and those capital taxes are what you'd pay on the equity. So if you sell a home before 2 years, you have equity that you're going to get back. You're going to be getting an extra tax on that. So stay in a home, think 2 years minimum, but imagine yourself there for 5-10 years. Also be aware that there's going to be basic maintenance like cleaning the house, inside, outside, the yard, perhaps the pool, basic things like that, or if you can afford to pay other people to do that. Make sure you create a home list, the neighborhood you want to be, because location's very important. How many bedrooms, what size of house, square footage, do you want a big backyard, do you want no backyard, do you want just, more of a kind of a separate townhome style detached home, or you might consider a condo at that point. Other thing I tell people to do, and some people already know, is if you start finding homes you like on the internet, drive to the neighborhood, drive to the house, get to know if that's a neighborhood you want to be in, if the stores around it are stores that you'd benefit from having in that area. Figure out where you're, like some people like H-E-B, some people like Walmart, some people like Kroger. See how far those stores are to your home that you're interested in. Also, if you're a Sam's or Costco person, definitely make sure you go and see where those stores are in relation to where you want to live. And of course, the most important, if you have to drive to work, how long does it take to get there and get back during those times that you will be driving? Most important, figure out what you can afford. Request a credit report from these 3 places. I'm just giving you a list of 3. There's probably others. So request your credit report from Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. And if you know others, then that's great too. Fix any errors right away. Make sure you know what you're walking into before you go through the process money-wise. Because unless you have cash to buy a house, without a loan, there's no house. If you have debt that's going to hold you back, and sometimes it's just like something that's $250 or $600 or even $1,500 that could be holding you back from a debt. It could be something that you forgot about. It could be something that you thought, oh, I don't have to pay that. Well, it's on the record. If you want a house, you got to pay it. Just fix it so you can get to that next point to purchase your home. And you have to determine the down payment next. So this is money you need to save to have for a down payment. Usually a minimum is 20% if you don't want to pay for mortgage insurance. You can get a lower down payment percent, but the interest will probably be higher, and you'll have to cover for the space between the 20% and how much you put down in something called the mortgage insurance, as we just said. Now, you can get an FHA loan for as little as 3.5% down. You will have to pay the mortgage insurance. That's okay, ways to get to your house. The other thing you could do is if you're in the military or a veteran, you can get, you guys probably know, the 0 down VA loan. wonderful thing. I use it with my husband. We have done it a few times. It's a huge benefit. Something to consider for people who say, I haven't been in the military, I'm not a veteran. You can consider a USDA loan, which is a United States Department of Agriculture loan for rural areas. And it can be a 0% down loan. Obviously, there's more to it. Definitely go online and do your homework on that and talk to a mortgage company who specializes in that to figure out how that process works. So there's lots of options to get a house, and the number one thing is to know your options and talk to different lenders to figure out who's going to give you the best option that's going to work for you. So let's see. Oh yeah, emergency fund. Now remember, when you buy a house, you want to set aside extra money, have it in a savings account for emergency fund. And I know some people say, well, I do that for like if I get into a car accident, or to pay, you know, the cover fees or hospital or whatnot. You also want to consider, what if something breaks down in the house? What if, you know, what if there's a water leak? Just anything could happen in the house, air conditioner, whatnot, you want to cover it. I mean, you can also get home coverage on the home, but there's going to be a fee like $65, $75 or however they have it. Sometimes not everything's covered. So there's all these little things that could happen that you just want to have some money to pay part of it, and then maybe get a loan or put it on your credit card. But the more you have set aside, the better, because you also might want, you know, different things in the house adjusted or fixed up, especially fans. Fans and lights may be outdated or not the style you want, or carpet, you're like, oh, that carpet's got to go. So think of those things, especially when you go and look at houses. Next thing is gather the you need certain documents. So gather the documents you need for the process and getting that loan. So you will need proof of employment, pay stubs, and tax returns, usually 2 years worth. The other thing is print out bank and investment account statements from the past 90 days. Compile your previous addresses and current landlord's contact information. Research mortgages. So request quotes from multiple lenders and comparison shop those loans. See who's going to give you what you want for the best interest. Now remember, part of that is your credit score, how much you make, how much you're paying out already. Obtain get pre-qualified for the loan. Most sellers will not let you even make an offer. They won't even look at it if you're not pre-qualified. A lot of them don't even want you to come and view their house unless you're pre-qualified. The other next step is when you want to make an offer, then get that pre-approval letter. So the pre-approval letter, you want it to be for the amount you're making the offer for. And you could change that if you don't get that deal, because sometimes houses go quick and the next one's a different price and you've got to make a different offer. Just get a different pre-approval letter so they know you're qualified for that much. Because maybe you can qualify for more, but you don't want to tell them that because maybe you can't economically do that, or you don't want to pay that much for that house. Next thing is assemble your team. Find a real estate agent you trust and that you communicate well with. Then sign an agreement with them as a buyer's agent or a seller's agent so that you're committed to them to make that transaction. And the real estate agent is then fully committed to you. Real estate agents work really hard just to do so much in the transactions, before the transactions. We're constantly learning, we're constantly dealing with other people and educating and sharing and helping. So when there's a transaction happening, you want to make sure you have an agreement signed so you're both 100% obligated to the process. And that makes the real estate agent push other things to the side and make you a priority, and you're making your promise that you're working and committed to work with them. So I hope everybody has an awesome day today. It's a little bit cloudy, but it's great weather here in Houston, Texas. Have fun.